Hello, everyone, and welcome back to game number 3 of the evening, game number 11 of Stage 1 for the PUBG Europe League Contenders Phase 3 promotion. My name's Esquire, joined here by Imperium on the casting desk, and it has been a day with a flagpole in it, and that flag that flies atop of it is the flag of the squad of Powerful, at least so far, but there's 2 matches left for a team to change that.
Powerful have made Erangel their own. They've conquered these first 2 games, and even Miramar game 3 yesterday. That's 3 games in a row. Let's hope they continue it forward. As this plane trajectory went from, of course, as we saw, the southwest to the northeast, pretty standard, gives lots of scope for these teams to really land where they want to, between potentially Pachinki, Yasnai, Rozhok, George Pool, of course, YMCA landing in Primorsk, and areas around that. So let's see what this first circle is going to give to us.
Yeah, everything's going to be open for these teams. It might be the most static Erangel map that we're going to see played out through the tournament so far. At least that's what we can hope for. We want to see teams making their way easily through the loot phases and then really showing their skills, their mechanics, their strategy through the mid to late game. But with the plane kicking everyone out of the cargo hold, Powerful going back to that known and loved location of Lipovka on the far east coast. Elgiganten going to be in a very wide split. And this circle, Imperium, some might say, hey, it looks like a good circle to me, but the biggest factor, the factor that you always have to be concerned about when you see a circle north like this, is that river leading out of Yasnaya. It makes teams have to hedge their bets, north or south. Which do we go? And if we have to make the rotation to the other direction, are we going to be able to easily do so? And the answer to that is no.
I totally agree. It's so unpredictable, and it does put a bit of a strain on a team's strategy where, yeah, as you said, you make that 50-50 decision. You might be able to make a more calculated decision by phase 2, but kind of at that point, you might be leaving a bit too late either way, because teams will have gone into their areas that they want to, into the compounds, whether north or south, and you make it a bit harder for yourselves. But Team Elite, they were kind of firing towards MJ-Esports even early on, but no real frag outs, no real players taken down. Still 15 teams, 60 players are alive, as we kind of highlighted or noticed. Why not? Have not seemed to have showed up today, unfortunately, because they were actually lying pretty good overall after the first 2 days. So hopefully they can make their way into in tomorrow's games. Hopefully try and rack up the points. But 3D Max has Yasnai pretty much all to themselves as usual.
So as the loot phase continues, just at that 3-minute mark, with this circle, you want to see some early rotations come out. The power positions, let's talk about a few of them. They're going to be those bridge positions a little bit off to the east of North and South Georgia Pole. One compound reigns supreme, and that's going to be the cube compound that sits right at that choke point. It's got the Harry Potter right outside. You're able to hold both positions and catch teams making the transition north-south. But also, if you have that deadly shift, you can make about a 10 to 15 meter shift either directions, or you're already going to be safe if you're on the north, down to the south, and get into that position. No one departing just yet, though. Milta will be picked up by the members of the Istanbul Wildcats. This has been an uncontested drop for them so far.
Yeah, no real pressure from their side. They do need a bit of a good result. They finished in around 8th place with only 4 points game 2. In game 1, they didn't do really much better. So they do need a solid, strong result from a points point of view to really hold their position in the standings, because they are currently finding themselves in roughly 8th place so far. So holding on to the top 8 to move on to stage 2.
Holding on to the top 8, though, is not saying much right now, with pretty much about 12 teams in striking distance of that. And this is the cube compound I was talking about. 2 of the members of SEEKORG will be holding off to it. They catch off one of the members of Enviik in rotation, trying to find the spray. The emptying of the magazines from the M4 will not be able to find the connections. Actually able to do so in one of the final shots. Barlas on to Robin will be able to find the kill. And that's a good pickup. The cube compound already paying off dividends.
Exactly, and a great seek out from SEEKORG, and Enviik going to be down to 3 players already. But this is coming to a bit of a 1v1 between Meprol and Panchok, Tarlans and CRIPS E-Sports respectively. And I think they're kind of avoiding each other for now, but that could be a bit of an opportunity for Panchok if he would have heard those footsteps. But the Mini 14 is going to be put out. Let's see if we can get those shots off as Team Elite or Elite Esports are going to look to move their way through. Futbolist and 3D Max also doing the same thing nearby.
Ooh, Tarlans going to be losing a few here as they drop down 1 to Futbolist and 1 to 3D Max. The other 2 members will be trying to crash in here into another, what you could consider a priority compound on the northern side of this circle. Postured right, though, across the hillside for the members of Team Elite, who are still looking to have that big performance with 18 points in total on the leaderboard. They're not out of it just yet, but they are going to have to drastically shift what they've been doing over the last 2 days.
Totally agree. And even in that last game, they got 5 points, right? And they survived against that kind of 3-squad situation. Then we kind of saw them kind of fall apart and get taken out by 1 member of Tarlans. And you can't help but think if they make that little bit of an adjustment, that little bit of evolution in those moments, that they can get double-digit game points. And that will really help them in the overall standings. But Genzo finds another knockdown onto Elite. Dead for now as they just continually get put under pressure in these games.
Like Metbrawl is gonna this what we're seeing right now is a product of a scout coming out from 2 teams. Tarlans, they were able to get there first, but they lost a lot in the process. So what kind of backup is really going to be coming that direction? Airwaves doing exactly that, riding up in the air on top of George Bull Mountain as a fight clashes. Team Elite, we just saw this set up. We didn't think it was going to be an engagement that would really pop off into anything, but it looks like Dead was spotted out, and it's going to be the flush coming in. Team Elite loses 1 member early on here in the stages of game number 3, and that's Futbolist picking up their 2nd kill here of the game.
And that's what's great about that compound that you highlighted that Futbolist occupies. That has 3 levels, so you have that extra level of height, so you can peek across the people that are on that hill, and you can find those shots off while still being very well protected. And also, any grenades that get thrown out in that direction, you're able to go up onto the 3rd hill and obviously avoid that damage from that grenade. But Panchok did get that kill, did get that knockdown onto that member of CRIPS E-Sports.
Absolutely necessary for Pancho to do right there as Power continues on this rotation from that Lipovka area. Around the base side of Stalber is where they will continue to go, and it looks like they might be trying to stake claim to this compound that Elgiganten Gaming has already occupied. A 2-2 split for Elgiganten, 1 in the warehouse.
Yeah.
Both of these positions extremely popular for teams to try to land here on the northern side of things, and Powerful has felt the presence of Elgiganten Gaming. Will be making that wrap back to the east, trying to avoid the shots from Nelaz's Scar.
Yeah, the second they saw Sash heard those shots, they were like, nope, we're out of here, guys. Let's move on. Let's turn around and head into another compound. That's exactly what they've done. Very clever play. And that's kind of calculated play that Powerful have executed in the first 2 games that have got them those chicken dinners and those kill points. Sometimes it's good to rush a compound, right? But you got to rush a compound when you know the enemy don't see you and start firing at you first. So Powerful making their way from Elgiganten is the best choice for them. But the 3 remaining members of Elite just looking to play safe, hold out in this compound, and hope for the best.
And it's a tough compound to really do that from. You could see MJ-Esports holding on to the gas station just up to the north. That's going to be a compound that you could see them push up the hill onto the likes of Team Elite as 3D Max continues to light up the kill feed. Wago with the SLR able to find a connection onto the Futbolists as SEEKORG continues to strongly hold the cube. This is how you hold it. 3 inside of the compound, 1 inside of the Harry Potter, waiting for that impending phase 2 shift. Where's it going to go? North, south, or will it be centered up, Imperium? Sometimes even through phase 3, we see the river implicated, and it still will be here as the shift goes down to the southwest. River going to be cutting off at least about 30% of the circle up towards the north.
I think it's actually going to shift in the next couple of circles. I'm going to bet it's going to shift southeastwards towards the hills and the fields outside Pachinki and between school. That's what my prediction is. And Team Elite, they're actually kind of doing something like that. They've gone across a bridge, driven, and Istanbul Wildcats, my apologies. They're doing exactly that as our MJ-Esports.
Yeah, you're likely not going to see SEEKORG depart off of that cube location. No. They're going to hold on for phase 3, which still could encompass the circle. That's the devastating part about this phase 2 shift. It leaves so much up to your imagination, essentially, because phase 3, it could hard shift up towards the north and create still a 50-50 zone back again with that river in play. So teams always have to keep that lingering as a thought inside of their head. as the Istanbul Wildcats take a position here on the Roz Water Tower Hill. Just trying to get some information. That's really the key from this position. There are a few compounds down to the south that the Istanbul Wildcats could look to take. ToxicPlayers and CRIPS lining up for an engagement here in the ruins.
The ruins can be tricky, can be interesting. You need to find the right spot, whether it's on top of the hill. Now, June, who's on his own, is trying to spot out Archie. The footsteps will have been heard. He's going through the bars. Archie isn't moving a beat. He's waiting for the rest of his team because he knows that with that team support, he will only have heard those one footsteps. He can wait. He can prone. He can pry through the bars. He gets a knockdown. Great job coming out from Archie.
More shots coming out. Archie able to find the tags onto June of CRIPS. The battle at the church continues to reign on here outside of the ruins as Razak going to be bombed upon by the members, I believe, of Elgiganten trying to reach up onto the hillside.
Ooh! That was stolen by YMCA.
Good kill still coming out. I believe that's Georgia. No, that's going to be the Yellows just down to the south where they're able to find the lines of sight. Futbolists continue on here as they pass through Watertown, which has now been taken up by the likes of the Istanbul Wildcats. The Watertown position, Imperium, not something that you see teams depart to towards phase number 2, but it is going to be one where the Futbolists can find survivability here in the mid-game.
Well, Watertown is not really liked by a lot of these teams, but being able to occupy it can give you strong position because it's not expected. But talk about not expected. 4 Kings gets a knockdown onto Genzo, and who does die to the water on the side now. And Genzo does get fragged out by Phosphor.
Phosphor going to be continuing to look on here from the east, trying to spot out Razak. Knows exactly where 2 of the members of the Futbolists lie, but is not able to find the distance on those grenades to actually get inside of the double-story priority building. But Team Elite moving in. They've got a solo player starting to make their way in this direction. Not quite a deadly pinch for Gluttony and Mockingjay to have to worry about.
No, I think that's going to be, a matter of, as I said, when rather than if he does get taken down. But look at this. Let's see what this next circle shift is going to be. Am I going to be right? Hey, they don't call me the zonal god for nothing, Esquire. I'm not far off on my prediction.
That's going to be the pretty nasty shift coming out right now. Istanbul Wildcats going to be holding on to a very good centralized position in Watertown. Razak holds on to the northeast. Rotations will come out from SEEKORG, who had held into the cube for 2 phases, and will have to make that movement. Mr. Rawada, Team Elite, he moved in off of that western position onto the Futbolists here in eastern Razak, and is able to find the kill onto one of the members of the Futbolists. 1 more remains. Gluttony going to be prepping the nade to try to land it. Nope. Going to be missing him, and down the hill it goes.
Hey, I was caster curse right there. I didn't think he was going to be able to get that, but finding that knock, find that kill, does put it in a 1v1 situation. Talk about 1v1 situation. Mini and Sakura come against each other, and Mini does feel the brunt. So right now, it's going to be going down as Ojala is looking for that remaining member of YMCA Sakura in the distance, but does get fragged out by Kajado behind him. Great play coming out from YMCA. They're able to support Sakura. What's he going to be able to do? Mini, Juno, all knocked down. This is Ojala getting taken out. A squad-wide MJ are eliminated in 15th place. YMCA caught MJ off guard from distance. So that is what a split can do for your team in that situation. But talking about situations, Istanbul Wildcats and SEEKORG are coming close to each other.
That they are in Watertown. 14 minutes and 13 seconds here into game number 3 of the day, and that's going to be CRIPS taking a lot of damage. Metabee trying to throw out a grenade, trying to get some pressure back into Watertown to fend off some of those bullets coming at his direction, but grenades will be the response from the Istanbul Wildcats, right almost on top of where the members of the CRIPS were lying, and he's able to avoid it. Metabee with 1% HP swimming back to the shoreline. 14-minute and 39, now 40-second mark of the game here, and the shots continues to ring out as ToxicPlayers Alphadon able to find a frag onto Barla. SEEKORG in that rotation, not finding friendly opposition inside of this next phase.
Yes, this game is just going to continue on for these teams. Istanbul Wildcats, SEEKORG, they're close to Watertown, but then ToxicPlayers, who did get that wipe or near enough wipe onto CRIPS E-Sports, they are still in ruins. They're still well inside the circle, so that's actually a good place for them to occupy. They want to follow up some decent kills, some decent results in today's games and try and stake their claim on the leaderboards. But Pachinki is occupied by Enviik for now, with Elgiganten in the distance just outside.
Next shift going to be coming up 15 minutes and 32 seconds into this game, and that's going to be a far southern hard shift down towards Pachinki, where for the members of Elgiganten Gaming will be holding on a few of Enviik. And then YMCA looks to hold off the 4 Kings here. 14 teams remaining, 42 players alive. And that 16-minute mark, just about 10 seconds shy of an Imperium, that's where things really start to at least pump off on these Erangel games. Teams are going to have a hell of a time trying to make those rotations through the wide open areas that lay right in the center of this circle. SEEKORG starting to take casualties. Phil going to be dropped down and out by the ToxicPlayers, who have had their sights on Watertown for the better part of 2 minutes now.
Well, yeah, that huge shift down south has meant that they're going to have to push forward and put pressure on the likes of SEEKORG and Istanbul Wildcats inside that Watertown area. But Elite, that one final member in that bike, going to try and get into the circle as quickly as possible, try and survive for as long as he can. As Powerful, they are also close to Watertown. Who would have thought that we'd have basically a 3-squad fight in Watertown? I love these circles, Esquire.
No one would have thought that, but certainly I think everyone was expecting Powerful to kick off this match sometime, picking up their first kill of the game. As they rotate on with all 4 alive, they're looking to try to swarm on top of the members of the Istanbul Wildcats in the garage building. Nade's going to be prepped out in underhand, trying to find a little bit of distance to connect on to the members of Powerful, but not able to do so. And Slippy Zerg continues to bleed out. Completely surrounded, the push will come in. Norky's going to be dropped down. The trade comes back out as Ghost Star is able to find one onto Istanbul.
Yes, Powerful. They are riding high on 2 wins. They've got to try and keep it forward, keep it composed, keep it calculated. Can Istanbul Wildcats find? The door is closed. He's going to find them. Great play by Ghost Star, follow up by his teammate to get that frag onto Istanbul Wildcats and eliminate them from Game 3 in 14th place.
4 kills picked up for the members of Powerful as Team Elite rolls in to Pachinki. 3 teams now will be sharing this area of the map, this southern area, which in all likelihood, unless there's going to be a far, very hard shift down to the South Imperium, we're going to see teams departing, and the shots will be coming out as the Tarlans look to try to capitalize on this. Morpheus going to be third-partied on. Poncho comes in hot.
Yeah, we're going to come in hot as Enviik. Furex does get that knockdown onto Powerful, so that could be Powerful put under a bit more pressure. Panchok from Tarlans in that Watertown in the minimap, as you see in front of us, guys, is just finding his way through Watertown as much as he can. Elite, they've actually done well as a 3-man team, right? They lost a member early on, but they've done well to kind of survive, keep in it, and of course with 13 teams still alive, if they stay out of trouble, they could find themselves in a better spot later on. But Powerful, they do find Tarlans. Tarlans goes out in 13th place as Futbolist inside the blue zone trying to find his way through, but he does get taken out. We are down to 12 teams.
Powerful continues to stay alive. Was getting a little bit worried as 4 teams had congregated towards that area, but they wipe out the solo players. 2 teams out, just going to leave the likes of SEEKORG, wrapping around the east, this northern side of the circle towards their location. As that phase shift does come out down to the south, a little bit off center, we go. Pachinki going to have the northern side in play, but rotations is all these teams to the north are going to be thinking about as the battle starts to at least pop off here between the likes of SEEKORG and Powerful. Nades being prepped, Fisk trying to find one inside of the building, but Norky's lays outside of the Dacia. Will he be caught out? 46% HP. The shots come out. He's going to be known, and the spray comes down. 17 HP, picks up not 1, but 2 kills, and out goes SEEKORG in 11th place position.
Damn, boy, he thick. Powerful are thick. They're finding a way through this game. Marcelic has been knocked down, so that's something that Powerful are going to have to be wary of because they know that there is a team close by. But look at this, Pachinki, or outside Pachinki, still inside the circle. Elite Enviik, Faye, can he survive? Can he try and get that kill onto Abadar? Yes, he does. He gets a knockdown. That's one knockdown, so it comes back down to a 1v2 situation. He's going to try and reposition, but we are focused now on the ToxicPlayers and Powerful.
Powerful was also trying to find that reposition out of the southern region of Watertown, but was met with a little bit too much resistance coming out of the ToxicPlayers. Nades being prepped, thrown in the direction of Ghoststar, and he's not going to be able to get the meds off. The blue zone eliminates Powerful in their worst placement of the day. 10th place they go, but combo that with what they pulled off in games 1 and 2, they're still going to be sitting at a massive point per game average. 9 remaining, 29 players alive. The fight for Pachinki rages on as somehow phase number 5 has continued to keep the northern part of this town in play.
And because we were so focused on the teams in the north having to move down, we haven't really had much of a chance to talk about the likes of 3D and Airwaves, who made their way down on the west and the southwest of this map to try and get into circle, and they are very close to each other. 4 Kings, YMCA trying to fight over this compound.
Shots coming out, almost has the body of the member of the 4 Kings in his sight to get the flush. Kill secure comes in. Blue zone, though, still securing it for the players of YMCA. As the other rotation for the 4 Kings comes out, Hickey bleeding out, has the deflate to work off of. Manny trying to deploy some smokes, trying to get the concealment so that he can safely pick up the res. With 9 teams remaining, 27 players alive. Airwaves, all 4 members up at the 21-minute and 30 mark of the game. Wacko will be going down, but not to Airwaves, not who you thought was going to be taking him down, but no Archie. With the SLR shots from a distance, the ToxicPlayers look to pick up another kill.
Yeah, ToxicPlayers said surprise mother truckers, and they are looking for shots on the 3D max and put them under a lot of pressure. Oh, that zonal shift in the next phase has gone well outside of Pachinki. So finally, it's actually in the favor of the likes of 4 Kings, but most importantly, YMCA. They occupy the compounds. They're still in circles. They're split up. They have great view of the teams around them.
That shift not going to be friendly for several of these teams. YMCA going to continue to hold on to that powerful position on the eastern side of the circle as shots ring out from 4 Kings from across the way, trying to land onto the Airwaves. But no, it's going to be the 4 Kings Phosphor who finds the shots onto Sampula with the M416. And now that's going to be putting YMCA on their back foot. They've got to recover off of this to continue to dominantly hold onto this compound as Pachinki starts to light up ever so slightly. 3 teams have to maneuver their way to the northwest. And Imperium, it's all a question of who spots who first.
4 Kings did get a kill with the frag onto one member of YMCA, so that does actually put YMCA under a bit of pressure. But Phosphor, he's fighting with the blue zone. He's having to make his way in. No, he gets knocked down, secured by Secura. So that is going to be more kills going over in the favor of YMCA, still occupying inside the circle. But Elgiganten and Elite 2v3 situation outside the circle, outside Pachinki.
Savage going to be spotting out Mr. Owada. A few shots ringing true, taking him down to about 5% HP. That's it. The final tag comes in. Savage with the Mini 14 is able to find the knock, almost able to find the flush, and there's the flush. Pobax, now the only solo player left alive for this Team Elite squad, who again, 8th place, it's going to be points for them, but it's not the points that they are going to need moving forward, and out they go to the blue zone somehow in 8th place position. 7 teams remaining, 19 players alive, and the push from Elgiganten now from the south advances its way forward to the ledge, where the members of Airwaves, as well as ToxicPlayers, and then of course, still inside of that devastatingly powerful compound will be YMCA.
Also, I want to highlight that the final remaining member of CRIPS E-Sports, they were put under fire early on. He's kept himself alive, and he's actually put his team into placement points, out of sight, out of mind of the rest of the teams. As Faye gets a fantastic knockdown onto Letos, this is Enviik against Elgiganten.
Big K98 bolt action shot coming in there. More spray coming down from Rip, who's able to find the connection onto Savage. 3 more members of Elgiganten still remain. The trade comes back out as Hugstar is able to drop down Rip. Sadovnik from Airwaves going to be third-partying onto this as well. We knew the southern part of this circle was going to be deadly. We didn't know how deadly it was going to be. with the angles that are now presenting themselves from the northwest. Circle Shrink comes out. The south is not going to be in play. Trico trying to do whatever he can to stay alive with Hugstar and then have to prep for this northern shift. It is not going to be good for either Enviik or Elgiganten.
Not at all. And look at ToxicPlayers. They just have the center of the circle. They can just look around and go, okay, who's coming towards us? Who wants to, who wants to eat our bullets? They just have to wait, find their moments, find their opponents, and they'll be able to rip on through them person by person. But YMCA, they are facing pressure from Four Kings. Four Kings have done a great job so far to stay as a two-man team. They even got a knockdown and a kill onto one member of YMCA early on, but they've got into the bike. They're going to try and separate themselves, try and keep themselves alive, but Higgy's taking a lot of damage.
We see this happen time and time again. For YMCA, they found a compound that provided them with so much safety and so much fragging power throughout the mid to early parts of the late game. But now that they have to move, they are caught in such a tough spot. They've got to try to get these frags. They're able to at least get one onto Higgy. The Four Kings won't be that much of a threat. Still Manny, though, on the opposite ledge just to the north is Elgiganten Gaming going to be dropped out to two different squads. Enviik and the ToxicPlayers going to be able to pick that up. Manny spotted. Shots coming out from Coyote as the blue zone starts to work its way forward. Nice nade. Nice nade. Yeah. Later.
Yeah. And another one was fired in that direction just for extra security. But look at ToxicPlayers. They're in a perfect position. They have security, they have protection, they have the vehicles around them. But Airwaves, they're looking to make their way through. Enviik has been eliminated in 5th place with the kills going over to YMCA. Mackin gets a knockdown onto Archie, though.
Good shots coming in. Airwaves trying to have a big game here. They've found themselves in these late game positions, just not able to really capitalize on those victories just yet. This could be the match to do so. Have to worry about Webby, the solo player of the Crips, laying right behind them. Coyote prepping the nade right in the direction of where Alpha Don of ToxicPlayers is holding on to. Don't think it landed on the right side of the rock. He's got a hell of a lot of cover between the disabled vehicles and those mountainous boulders to work off of.
I hate snakes in classic matches of PUBG, but when it comes to a competitive setting, you got to do what you got to do to help yourself and help your team move forward. And Webby is doing a fantastic job. But the action is going on in these other remaining teams. Mackin is looking for that final member of ToxicPlayers and does get it done. They go out in 5th place.
He was so safe. All he had to do was pretty much just duck down and keep his head out of line of sight and out of harm's way. Not able to do that. We'll be dropping us down to 3 teams remaining at the 27-minute and 30 mark of the game. 8 players alive. Airwaves with all 4 alive. Half of the players in this lobby in this final circle are going to be on their squad. Solo player over for the members of Crips, who still lay silently on the edge of the circle. And then it's just going to be YMCA, who's already taken casualties. 2 get dropped down. It's essentially a 4v1v1 at this stage, as just Turbo Banani going to be the only member alive for YMCA. If you're a solo player, if you're Crips right now, this is exactly how it plays out. This is the poster game for how a solo player wants the game to end.
Like, of course, he's been a little bit lucky with some of the zones and the fact that a lot of teams kind of within reason around him have taken each other out, so he's been able to move forward. But he's done it so perfectly. Mackin takes a couple of shots. The grenade goes in. That is going to be a knockdown. However, YMCA are eliminated. It's come down to 2 teams. Webby and Airwaves. Crips is just going to be on his own. What's he going to be able to do? Is he going to be able to get that squad wipe?
He might be able to do something here. I mean, certainly with how spread the members of Airwaves are, if he gets one knock and is able to reset his position before the spray comes back in, it could be good. Nade's coming out. This should be the members of Airwaves spotting out the grenade trajectory, but they haven't just yet. They have no idea where Webby is currently coming from. They're not even spotting it. He's able to continue to get nades and nades and nades out, and is able to find the first knock. Now it's a 1v2 scenario. It becomes a hell of a lot easier. He has been spotted, needs to reset his position, not going to be able to do so, and that's the victory. 10 kills and the chicken dinner going over to Airwaves.
Great play by Airwaves and exactly what they needed. But I've got to say, CRIPS E-Sports, he did such a good job for his team. He even got the frag at the end. And look, every point counts. So to be able to do that, even though there was a really low chance that they were going to get the win, that was perfectly executed by him.
Exactly was. That's the, again, the best you can hope for. Good performance from them.
Exactly.
But insane performance coming out of the members of Airwaves, keeping almost all 4 alive throughout the entirety of that game. Their first chicken dinner here in 3 days of stage 1. Will we be able to see a repeat for them like we saw from Enviik, and then the three-peat coming in from the members of Powerful, who Imperium kind of stumbled a little bit in this game. I believe 10th place is where they went out.
Yeah, but they did get 5 kills, so it's better than a kick in the face, as I like to say.
A hell of a lot better. Yeah. I can't wait to see how many teams came out with 0.
Yeah, exactly. But Airwaves, they were in 9th place at the end of that last game. And we talk about the points difference. With that win, that's going to give them a decent bit of a points difference over against the likes of Toxic, Futbolist, and Tarlans Esports, and hopefully get them just ever closer to securing their top 8 spot for stage 2.
Was a good play right there. Airwaves really making good work of this field, not really conceding to a building type push, and that's where I felt like really hurt the members of YMCA the most, as we saw them go out in 3rd place position. But with just one more game on the board here coming up next on Erangel, and then that closes out day number 3, Imperium, day number 4. It's not a championship day, but it is a day that decides what 8 teams are able to move forward and what 8 teams drop out of the tournament entirely. And while points are going to be one of the ways, well, pretty much the only way that you get yourself into the top 8, let's take a look at how the points shaped up for match number 11.
Yeah, we saw MJ-Esports, the only team to not get any points that game. Istanbul Wildcats, Tarlans, SEEKORG, 3D Max, and Elite all getting 2 points each, and then Futbolist finishing in 9th with 3 points. So a share of the kills going over to these lower teams. 3D Max once again not getting a strong performance, but we see the top 8 teams for that match 11.
Yeah, definitely some big points coming out. Airwaves able to take down a 20-point chicken dinner. We've seen some big point totals coming out from teams here today. No team walking away with a chicken dinner has had under 10 kills, which is pretty phenomenal, especially towards the later days of this stage where teams have really figured each other out. You would expect it to not have these types of landslide first place finishes, but they are exciting as hell to watch, and big ups to Airwaves as well as YMCA and ToxicPlayers for making their way into the top 3.
Exactly. YMCA with 11 kills. Of course, the position that they had in that compound towards the end of the zones really did help, but they protected it well, especially against the likes of 4 Kings, as we do see the kill leaders for that game was Sakura, Airwaves, ToxicPlayers occupying the top 3.
Yeah, no surprise to see Sakura from YMCA Esports up there. That compound they held north of Pachinki was very favorable for them all the way up until that final few moments of the game where they had to push out into the fields. But good performances all around. The kills continue to be racked up. 7 is the number that you have to beat for a single match. Let's look at the damage. A little bit lower and a little bit more spread out than we were used to seeing.
Well, that's the same with the kills. Like the top 5 on the kill feed were all occupied by different teams, and we even look at the top 3 on the damage point of view, all occupied by different teams. So spread out quite evenly in this 3rd game of the day, Esquire.
Airwaves going head to head with CRIPS 1st and 2nd place from this match. You can see a big discrepancy. Airwaves fighting through thick and thin to have to achieve this 1st place, and then CRIPS off of the back of the solo player who was able to avoid danger and will combo that into the other facet of PUBG. It's both kills and survivability that combo into these competitive matches, and that's what brought them into that 2nd place position. 1,400 damage, though, on behalf of the members of Airwaves. Absolutely insane. There's your top player from Airwaves as well. Amorous doing a great job. 5 kills.
As well as 2 knocks. 292 damage. 5 kills with 292 damage does actually show that the whole of Airwaves were doing a lot for each other and for the team as a whole. And you got to say that it was an overall great team performance. As 1 headshot did come out on the side of Amorous. But look, CRIPS, they got 1 kill, but they got 6 times the amount of placement points. And that's such a good job by them.
It certainly is, and there are your 3 winners of the day so far in matches 9, 10, and 11. Match number 12 going to be coming up next here in about 10 minutes or less. Make sure to stay tuned. Don't touch that browser. Myself and Imperium going to be bringing you all the commentary action.